Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Thursday Amino information I wanted to give you today. Today we're going to be talking about cravings and addictions as far as how and why, what's going on in your brain that makes it so no matter how much willpower you have, it almost feels impossible to stay away from things that you're craving. Especially at this time. I was going to be speaking this week on sleep. And I had somebody reach out to me and say, what about cravings? I'm home. For whatever reason, I can't stay away from the sugars and the starches. And can you give me some information on this? I decided that this would be a great thing to talk about today. So why and what's going on? First of all, guys, I'm Shelly Jo Wallstrom, and I am the amino acid lady and hypnotherapist. My business is Shelly Jo Hypno, and I specialize in amino acid therapy. Certified hypnotherapist, also certified addiction recovery and mental health nutrition coach. I just want to teach you today what's going on in your brain that makes it so hard to stay away from sugars or starches. It could be alcohol, it could be drugs also, it could be the internet, social media, or gaming. Today we're going to be specific on food and diet drinks and sugars and what is going on in your brain. All right, so this is the deal. This is a quick overview again for those who are just getting on and haven't seen some of my posts. In your brain, you've got 4 neurotransmitters. Dopamine, which is your energy. Serotonin, which is positive mind. Endorphins, which are your happy chemicals. And GABA, which helps you calm down. When they're working, you feel great. When they're not, when they become depleted, and they can be depleted for lots of different reasons. They can be depleted because you were born like that. It could be depleted because stress or lifestyle, or 60% of people over 40, their neurotransmitters become depleted. Those are your happy, calm, feel good chemicals in your brain. Once they become depleted, then you have anxiety, worry, stress, cravings, addiction, lack of energy, lack of sleep. That's what's going on. Your brain quits firing. We are imperfectly perfect humans, and sometimes that's just what happens. With this pandemic, it's a stress. We're living in a time when we don't know what's going on. A lot of people are living in worry and stress, just trying to figure out how to live each day. Let's be specific though. Like I said, today I'm going to be speaking specifically to the food cravings and the sugar cravings. A little bit of salt. So what I want you to do is ask yourself, what is your craving? What do you crave for? Do you crave sugar? Do you crave starches? Do you crave caffeine? Hey Steve, how's it going? Do you crave salt? Each one of them, and depending on what time of day and what you're craving it for, depends on which neurotransmitter is not firing correctly. Let's start out with salt. A lot of people will say, well, I crave salt. Well, salt is a cortisol or an adrenal issue, adrenal fatigue. Cortisol, if you have too much cortisol in your body, that fight or flight, that you're always in this state of panic or this, I either want to just fight or run away, then that could be that your adrenals are fatigued and your cortisol is out of whack. You should be that you wake up in the morning and you have cortisol, because that's what wakes you up and gets you going for the day. So it should be high in the morning, and then it should start to taper down so that you can go to sleep at night. That's what your cortisol is supposed to do. When you become fatigued because you've been on high alert for way too long, a lot of times you'll wake up in the morning and your cortisol is way too low, and then it spikes at nighttime, what makes it hard to go to sleep. So getting those back in alignment makes it so you can go to sleep. Now, the natural things to do to help get your cortisol back in alignment is in the afternoon, evening, allow yourself time to relax, to slow down. The one and only way, the best way to get your cortisol back in alignment is to rest. And let that cortisol kind of rebuild itself and then come back. All right, the next one is serotonin. When your serotonin is low, then that's negativity, worry, anxiety, obsessive thoughts, racing thoughts. When the serotonin is low, you're going to feel the cravings in the afternoon and evening. So if you feel like, okay, things are okay in the morning and the daytime, and then come about afternoon, 3 or 4 o'clock, your body's like, I got to have the sugar. I got to have some starches. That's going to tell you that serotonin is your issue. And if that's the case, then some 5-HTP, positive mind, tryptophan, positive sleep, is going to help with those cravings. The next craving, or the next neurotransmitter, is dopamine. Dopamine is your energy, it's your focus, it's your drive. When that becomes depleted, then you're craving chocolate or caffeine, aspartame, tons of sugar. It's kind of like if you're sitting down and you're working on a project and you're not eating, and all of a sudden your brain is like, okay, I need to be fed and I need to be fed right now. And you find yourself scavenging for something to give you some energy. Hey, Monica, good to see you. Thanks for joining in. That's what you're looking for. Your dopamine is depleted and it's looking for something to give you some stimulation. Tyrosine, L-tyrosine energy booster is going to help because it's a sustained energy, and it's going to help you to feel just like you're alive, like you're awake, not like the caffeine where you spike and then you drop. The next one is your endorphins. Now, your endorphins are you're happy. When they are not firing the way they're supposed to, then this is where you crave comfort, reward, or numbing. And you're looking for something to comfort. Hello, Tracy. Good morning. You're looking for something to comfort, to feel love, reward, I deserve this, or numbing, I just want to check out. That's also kind of where the gaming and the social media, TV, when you're just binge watching, that is going to be an endorphin issue. That's also, if somebody craves more on like bread, they're looking for comfort food. So if you think of, what do I grab when I'm looking for comfort? I'm looking for something that's got, normally it's bread, hot warm bread, it could be gluten, it could be dairy. Those are really a big one in the comfort, is I just want something to make me feel good. It can be the sugars and starches, or sugars, because starch is the bread, but it really is, I just want to feel better. I just want to feel happy. I want to feel love. Somebody who's kind of feeling a little bit like their emotions are kind of a little bit more on the teary side, crying easily, that's your endorphin issue. That one is, what can help that is called DLPA, happy. It gives you a little bit of energy and it makes life look a little bit brighter. Now there is one that kind of is an overall, and that is because of your blood sugar. If you're somebody who craves sugar or starches, or you find yourself skipping meals and you become irritable, it's that hangry feeling. You know what I'm talking about, where you're like, I think that there's a commercial on TV and you see this guy or girl and she's like crazy and they're like, you're just not yourself. And they turn over a Snickers bar. Because that's what your brain is like, I need something, I'm become angry, hangry, okay? It also causes you to become irritable and irrational. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, in the front of your brain right here is your prefrontal cortex. Its job is your cognitive thought processes. It's, I'm gonna make this choice and this is gonna be the outcome. It's your willpower, it's your drive. For an addict, it's the tools to stay clean, to stay away from the sugars, the starches, the alcohol, the drugs. When that becomes depleted, or if you're feeding yourself lots of sugars or starches, then what happens, or you're skipping meals, that prefrontal cortex shuts down. That's where you become irritable and irrational. Irritable, that hangry feeling, and irrational is, I'm going to make this choice and I could care less about the outcome. For an addict, that is what causes you to relapse, because your brain is like, I need it and I need it now. Because when your brain wants something, it wants it right this minute. And it's going to go to what is going to fill that void or that need the fastest. And that's where that it's going to go quickly, because sugar, starches are easy for your brain to process. And when your brain's like, on fire, I need something, I need it now, it's going to go to that, whatever is going to give it to the quickest. Hey, Tracy, I'm glad you're getting this and understanding what I'm talking about. So when you don't, you go into that hypoglycemic state. A lot of you have to know what that is. What a hypoglycemic state is, when all of a sudden your brain goes, I need something and I need it now. Let's say it's a sugar. And so you go and you take some sugar, and it causes your blood sugar to skyrocket really high. And then you get up here and your brain's like, alert, 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 too much. So it puts off too much insulin, which causes you to crash. And now you crash lower. So you know what I'm talking about. All of a sudden you have energy, and then all of a sudden you're like, no energy, crash. Then your brain goes, uh-oh, alert, alert, I need something, hurry. And so it puts off adrenaline. And when it puts off adrenaline, it causes you to crave again, if it's a sugar. So you end up doing spike, crash, spike, crash, spike, crash, spike, crash. The bad part is when you spike, the first time it's clear up here. And you crash and it's right here. But the second time, you spike only here. And the crash goes lower. And the second time, you spike here. And the crash goes even lower. So your brain is still wanting to this high, but now it's only getting this much. That's what hypoglycemia is. So what can you do for that one? There is a amino acid that is specific for hypoglycemia. And what we want is to keep your blood sugar level, and also to feed your brain. There's an amino acid called glutamine. Mine is called L-Glutamine CRAVING BE GONE. And what it does, it is a brain cell food. So it's actually feeding your brain what it needs. So instead of your brain going, I need sugar, the glutamine feeds the brain what it actually needs. And it keeps your blood sugar level. Now, glutamine is one that your body already creates. It's a non-essential amino acid. The challenge is it's used in lots of different places in your body. So it's used in your brain, it's used in your muscles, it's used in your stomach. And so sometimes it's hard to keep enough of it to do what it needs to do. By feeding it some glutamine, then what it does is it helps to keep your brain fed. It also keeps your blood sugar level. It also helps the mucus lining of your stomach. So if you're somebody who struggles with like IBS or something like that, the glutamine will help with that. And then that way, by feeding your brain what it needs, it's going to lower your need for the sugars and the starches. So by feeding your brain what it needs, then it helps so that the cravings are tolerable. The next step is making sure that what you're eating, there's such a connection between the body and the brain when it comes to mental health. By feeding your body at least 3 portions of protein per day, 3 veggies, and good fats, which, for me, I was on a diet roller coaster all my life. Anybody would say eat fats, and I was like, no, fats will make me fat. Well, it really isn't the good fats that make you fat. It's the sugar and the starches. So by eating good fats, and I'm talking about nuts and seeds, olive oil, real butter, avocados, those, by feeding your brain what it needs, it's not going to crave the sugars and the starches so much. So getting them in alignment. Yeah, Monica, you're right. Glutamine it's amazing to take in the morning. But by feeding the brain what you need with the food and with the amino acids, then it gets those under control. That way, I don't have to tell somebody, hey, you have to get off sugar. See, because sugar is also a comfort. And when you say to somebody, you need to get off sugar, it's like, this is like my blankie. I'm going to hold on to that. But when you start feeding your brain what it needs, your cravings start to go down and your need for that comfort also goes down. Now, this I know for a fact because I call myself a former sugar addict and Diet Coke addict. Before I learned about amino acids, I lived on sugar and I lived on Diet Cokes. You know, they say that you spike and then you drop. Well, I don't know that I ever dropped because I was never without sugar. I always had candy around. I like Good and Plenty's. I like Peeps. I like straight sugar. I mean, to me, cotton candy is like the sugar of the candy of the gods. And I always had candy with me. By getting on the amino acids, my cravings went down. And I was able to get them under control. Monica, that's a good question. And let me answer that in just a second as far as the apple cider go. But by getting my cravings under control, I found that the Diet Coke, I didn't need it as much. In fact, to the point where I haven't had a Diet Coke in, gosh, almost over a year and a half. Now, sugar, I do like sugar. The difference is I can like sugar. I don't crave sugar. So if that makes a difference. I can have, a cup of Good and Plenty rather than the whole bag of Good and Plenty. So that's what the difference is. It's not that you have to live without sugar. It's just that you can control it. A thought here or a little piece of advice is that when you're craving something, if your taste buds are like, I want this, and I want to have I'm craving some chocolate cake, or I'm craving some sugar. And Steve, I'll get to that in a minute with the keto, but craving of the sugar, once you eat 3 bites of something, a chocolate or a brownie or a sugar, it really does satiate your your sweet tooth. After that, it just becomes extra calories. So by eating more consciously, you can enjoy 3 bites of something and then be done with it. It's being more conscious on what you're eating. I don't know if you've ever had that time where you sit down to eat something, and then let's say it's cookies and you're eating it and you're not paying attention, and then all of a sudden you go, hey, where did that go? Where did that cookie go? Or where did that cupcake go? Because you're just eating not consciously. So being more aware of what you're eating, take 3 bites and then calm down how you're eating. You can enjoy food. You can enjoy things, but you don't have to do it in large amounts. As far as apple cider vinegar goes, Monica, I'm not really familiar with what it actually does to your hormones in the morning. Glutamine, I suggest that you take it 3 to 4 times a day if you struggle. I also suggest that you take it and you can put it in your water. So you can take a capsule, put it in your water. It doesn't have a flavor. And then sip on it so that your brain is being fed. I do know that apple cider vinegar can help if you're somebody who struggles with the breakdown of proteins, that apple cider vinegar can help with the breakdown of proteins. So if that answers your question, that is, I'm not as up on how to use apple vinegar cider for the hormones. Steve, the keto, yes, keto. I understand keto. It's lots of fats. I'm not going to tell you what to do or what not to do. I feel like there's a balance. And anytime that you do anything that's to an extreme, I do know that keto works to help with weight. I've seen people lose a lot of weight on the keto diet really quickly. The challenge is that whenever you do something to an extreme, it's not something that you can do forever. The way I look at it is if you can feed your brain what it needs in your body and get your sugars under control. Because, guys, the truth is that we live in a world that's filled with food and sugars and things that make us happy. Part of the reason about being stuck home is we're struggling because what we normally get our happiness from, being out, being around people, we're not getting. And so we're turning to the sugars and the starches to make us feel better. But by getting those under control, you really can learn to live and eat more, or make food so it's more livable, more enjoyable, and eat less. And because it's really not about the food, guys, right? Food is just food. Food is fuel. I don't see food as bad or good or better or worse. I see it as it's fuel. And it just depends on what you do with that fuel or how much of that fuel you're eating. That is where the challenge is. Now, I could go into hypnosis and get into why or what might be the underlying cause. And I'm not doing that today because that's not, today it's specifically on the amino acids. Anyway, if that's helped you, if you're wondering, hey, is there an amino acid that can help me? Go to my website, which is hypnoaminos.com. On the front page, there's a quiz. You can actually take the quiz and it's going to tell you each step, each amino acid, each neurotransmitter. It's simple. Take it. It'll give you an idea of which amino acids might help you. Then you can go to the store and where the amino acids are and purchase what you need. For this flash sale, guys, I'm giving a $10 discount on whatever you want to buy. $10 off of any aminos. It goes until tomorrow night. You can use the code FB Craving, so Facebook Craving, and get the $10 off. I hope this has helped you. Share it. I'm thinking about you. I just want to make it so that while you're struggling, that you feel better. Okay, guys, if I can reach out to me, I can help you. I'd love to. In the meantime, keep smiling. See you next week. Next week we'll go into sleep again. Love you. Bye.